Welcome to Saints Sodality, a new podcast where we dive deep into the life of saints.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into something really, pretty extraordinary and frankly baffling. We're looking at the phenomenon surrounding Padre Pio specifically, this persistent, unique perfume odor associated with him.
That's right. And our goal here isn't about belief, really. We're focusing on the sources, the documents that describe this sensory experience. We've got medical reports, notes from clergy, personal testimonies, all trying to capture something that, science at the time just couldn't explain.
And here's the hook that really pulls you in. This wasn't just, a faint, nice smell. Reports say it came from his blood, clung to things he touched, and get this, was apparently smelled by people miles, sometimes hundreds of miles away. It's wild. Okay, let's try and unpack this puzzle.
Where the scientific confusion kicks in almost immediately when you look at the medical side. We're not talking about rumors here. We have reports from doctors like Festa and Romanelli who examined his wounds, the stigmata firsthand, and they confirmed in their notes a pleasing and peculiar perfumed odor coming from the blood itself.
Which is just bizarre, isn't it? Because blood, normal human blood, exposed to air, it breaks down, it smells metallic or worse. Definitely not. Perfume, these doctors were saying his blood just didn't do that.
Exactly. It didn't corrupt. It consistently gave off this sweet, pleasant scent. Scientists they consulted back then basically threw up their hands. They said, look, it's impossible for blood to do this, to smell sweet.
But wait, there's another layer. Padre Pio actually used disinfectants on the wounds, right? Like strong stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Tincture of iodine, carbolic acid. These are harsh, caustic substances. We're talking industrial strength cleaners.
Okay, stop right there. Carbolic acid. That stuff should obliterate any other smell. Seriously. So how could a delicate, sweet perfume not only survive that, but be smelled at the same time as the acid? That breaks chemistry, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's what fascinated the people documenting this. Chemistry 101 says the strong acid wins, it destroys the weaker scent. Yet you had these accounts, verified testimonies, where one person standing there smells the harsh iodine or acid, and someone right next to them smells, say, violets or roses at the exact same moment.
So it wasn't like the perfume was just masking the acid smell, it was both coexisting.
Precisely. An impossible juxtaposition. It defied the rules.
And that story about Dr. Festa, that really hammers home how objective this seemed to be. He couldn't smell at all.
Correct. The records state he was entirely deprived of the sense of smell, couldn't smell a thing. But when he took a cloth stained with Padre Pio's blood back to Rome...
Let me guess, other people could smell it.
People in the car with him, they distinctly smelled this intense fragrance, even with windows open, apparently.
Right.
Sest himself, of course, smelled nothing.
But the cloth itself, it carried the scent.
It did. Back in his study in Rome, the sources say this small cloth filled the room with perfume for a long time. So much so that patients, people coming in for completely different reasons, would just spontaneously ask him, "Doctor, what is that lovely smell?" They weren't prompted.
Right, which argues against it just being suggestion or mass hysteria, doesn't it?
Exactly. The sources really push back on that idea. They emphasize it was smelled at a distance, it attached to objects, it was perceived by people with different sensitivities simultaneously, and, as you mentioned, reportedly reached across distant lands and wide oceans.
Okay, so if it traveled, what did it smell like? Was there a consistent signature scent at least?
Not really, no. That's another strange layer. The reports are incredibly varied. Often it was pleasant things, violets, lilies, roses, incense are mentioned a lot. But then sometimes people reported smelling fresh tobacco, which is unexpected.
Yeah.
And occasionally, that harsh carbolic acid smell came through too. It was all over the place.
So not just one perfume, and described as indescribable.
Yeah, that word comes up. One source says it had all the varieties of ordinary odors, but it also has elements that are new and different and hitherto unknown. Like it was almost alive. Adapting somehow.
Adapting? How so?
Well, there's this one anecdote about a relic, a bit of linen from his side wound. A woman held it, smelled a wonderful perfume. Standard enough, right? But then a priest put a letter down next to the relic while he wrote on it. And suddenly the letter started giving off a really strong smell of, like, scented soap. Not the relic itself changing, but the object nearby.
Whoa, okay, that does sound less like a passive scent and more like something directed, communicative, which brings us back to the whole distance thing. I mean, how does a smell travel like that, targeting people?
It's maybe the hardest part to get your head around. But the accounts are there, people smelling it before they even got to the monastery or long after they left. Sometimes, just sitting on a train or in a car.
That story about Signora Anita Regini on the train, that's pretty compelling, isn't it?
It really is. She's on this express train, Foggia to Naples. She'd been to see Padre Pio, couldn't get confession, and she's really upset, complaining about it to other passengers.
Feeling totally let down.
Exactly. And right then, at that moment of peak disappointment, this intense wave of perfume just washes over her. Specifically her. She asks the others, "Do you smell that?" They're like, "No. Wait. Maybe faintly." And then it's gone for them. But for her, Anita, the smell stayed strong all the way past Benevento. That's like an hour or more on the train.
So not just a random whiff of something in the train car, it was personal, targeted, lasting. And she took it as a sign, like he heard her.
That's exactly how she interpreted it. A direct, nonverbal message. "I heard you, I'm aware, don't worry." It answered her specific distress.
It's these spontaneous moments that seem most convincing in the reports, like the little kid.
Oh, right. The 3-year-old son of Carlo Pedriali. Padre Pio walks into the sacristy, and the kid just pipes up, "Daddy, where's this smell coming from?" A toddler isn't primed to expect the odor of sanctity, He just smelled something strong and unusual.
Okay, so moving from the what to the why. What was the perceived purpose of this? Why this strange perfume phenomenon?
Well, the general understanding, based on all these collected experiences, was that the scent acted as a kind of sign, usually a sign of grace, or that a prayer request made through Padre Pio's intercession had been heard or granted. It was like a confirmation.
Physical proof of a non-physical connection? Sort of.
You could put it that way, but its function wasn't always positive confirmation. Sometimes it seemed to act as a warning, maybe about approaching danger, or even as a sort of nudge against sin or temptation. Though yes, most often it was reported as a source of comfort.
Can you give an example of a warning?
Sure. There's the story of Dr. Del Fonte. He was working late, tired, and he skipped saying a quick prayer before starting, something he'd apparently promised Padre Pio he'd always do. Suddenly, bam, a really strong smell of incense fills his office. He immediately knew, or felt he knew, it was Padre Pio reminding him, "Hey, you forgot something."
Wow.
Okay.
And for encouragement?
There's the seminarian, James Bowman. He was serving Mass with Padre Pio. But he didn't know anything about this whole perfume thing. He just noticed this incredibly beautiful fragrance during the Mass, something totally new to him. Later, he mentioned it to another priest who basically congratulated him, saying it was widely seen as a sign of a special grace being given to him.
So the sources suggest Padre Pio could, control it, send it out.
That's certainly the implication in many accounts, that he could sort of project it at will, and used it quite deliberately as a way to communicate, to let people know he was aware, maybe to tell them not to be afraid, or to encourage them, hope, pray, behave well.
Like a spiritual text message.
Yeah, maybe. Think about Signorina Alfonsina Parisi. She had this painful leg, put a relic on it. Next morning, pain's gone. She's wondering silently, did Padre Pio really cure me? And right then, her kitchen fills with this extraordinary perfume of flowers.
The confirmation she needed without a word.
Exactly. Or Mother Caterina Cusiniti. She'd sent a prayer request months earlier, heard nothing back, felt forgotten. Wakes up at 4:30 in the morning to this powerful, beautiful, lasting scent of incense. For her, it was instant assurance. The prayer wasn't lost, it was answered. The smell cut right through her doubt.
It's quite something, but to really grasp the context, we should probably touch on some of the other phenomena reported around him, right? This scent wasn't happening in a vacuum.
Absolutely. The sources describe a whole range of, extraordinary events attributed to his intercession or presence. It paints a picture of intense spiritual force. Seeing the perfume alongside those other accounts helps frame it.
Like the story of Antonio Olivieri, the atheist with the heart condition. 69 years old, serious illness. Padre Pio just puts a hand on his heart, on his head, and boom, cured instantaneously. And the guy converts on the spot. If that kind of physical healing is documented, maybe manipulating scent molecules isn't that much crazier.
It puts it in perspective, yes. Or the account of the girl said to be possessed. Couldn't even enter the church. Padre Pio makes the sign of the cross towards her from a distance, and instantly, she's reportedly freed and cured. Influence without physical contact.
And that slightly funny one about the nail polish.
Oh yeah. The woman dreams Padre Pio is cleaning her nails, telling her nail polish isn't appropriate. She wakes up, grabs scissors to scrape it off, and touches the nail. And the polish just jumps off, apparently. Like his intention in the dream had a physical effect later.
It suggests a kind of spiritual energy that could interact directly with the physical world, whether it's illness or demons or nail polish.
And historically, this idea of a saintly perfume isn't totally unique to Padre Pio. The sources do point this out. It's known as the odor of sanctity. St. Martin de Porres, for instance, reports claim his body gave off a perfume even 25 years after he died.
Really? Wow.
And St. Lidwine, her room was supposedly often filled with this amazing perfume, especially after she received communion. And get this, some said it even affected their sense of taste, like chewing cinnamon.
That's very specific.
It connects to this idea mentioned in some sources about metaphysical virtues. The theory being that intense spiritual alignment, this unity of spirit and body, could actually cause a transformation of the physical life. And one way this transformation might reveal itself is through a characteristic perceptible odor. The body itself changing, chemically maybe.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up for this deep dive.
Right.
We've looked at the documents describing this odor around Padre Pio. Chemically baffling, smelled like anything from roses to tobacco, traveled distances, and seemed to function as a very unique personal form of communication.
Right. And I think the core takeaway from these accounts is how much that tangible physical sign mattered to people, especially in moments of doubt or fear. The scent was like immediate sensory proof that they weren't alone, that something beyond the ordinary was present or intervening. You could smell it.
It cut through the uncertainty. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. These sources propose that deep mystical conviction might have the power to literally reshape physical reality, to make the body conform to the spirit's state. If that's even remotely possible, what level of focus, what depth of intention, what kind of sustained inner alignment would it actually take for your internal state to manifest physically? So clearly that other people could perceive it, document it, even if they, like Dr. Festa, couldn't physically smell a thing. What does that imply about the connection between mind, spirit, and matter?